before the break, we were talking about reputational management, personal branding. I want to talk now to Liezl. I mean, you've actually done work for the president, President Zuma. Has that kind of put you on the map in terms of people knocking on your door going, look, I mean, if you can do work for the president, then I'm sure you can help our company out as well?
I think there has been a fair amount of interest shortly after we started with that, but there was more negative interest from journalists branding not my company but me as an individual and putting me in the Zuma camp. At the time, I mean, this was shortly after the president, who was then the deputy president, was relieved of his duties, and they were looking for people to group under different political camps. So even though we were providing a professional service, we were then branded as being a spin doctor in that camp. So it wasn't positive. It actually affected my business negatively at the time. And there was some other interest from companies who we still work with today. But I think our focus has always been more providing the link between international companies who don't understand or know the corporate culture in South Africa and how to do business and how to understand our regulatory affairs and customers and things like that, rather than the spin doctor, which some media entities purported us to be.
But now, what is the difference between, explain to us what a spin doctor is and the difference in reputational management or your role, really?
I think, you know, even though I've been called a spin doctor, I resent the term because I think a spin doctor is tries to dress someone up who messed up in public, or who messed up. And we try and assist clients with a communication strategy and show them how to present themselves accurately to the media, through the media to the public, because they don't have the knowledge on how to deal with the media. And I think that's a very big difference, where we are trying to assist in creating a genuine, sustainable communication strategy, and not just to make them smell like roses if they are bad people.
So Donna, I think media can either be, in this particular case, you know, either your friend or your foe, depending on how you handle it.
Absolutely, and I mean, a stunning example that comes to my mind in the book that I recently wrote, Branding and Marketing You. I interviewed 9 South Africans who've done a great job of branding and marketing themselves, and one of them was DJ Fresh. And the one example that he gave to me when he was caught speeding, and what he did is he went out onto all his social media platforms, came honestly and openly what he'd done, apologized for what he did, and kind of moved on from there to actually turn it into a social responsibility initiative.
Right.
So instead of letting the media get hold of it and to take control, he actually, through his openness and honesty and through his communication, created a positive out of the experience.
And a positive response from the public, surely. Dominik,
Absolutely.
have you seen, I mean, can you give us examples from organizations where they've actually not spun it around, but, you know, with crisis management, actually gotten themselves out of that situation?
Well, I mean, I think that Eskom is a good example of how to actually build a reputation sustainably and from the inside out. You know, Eskom has been severely punished in the public eye with load shedding. And then it's really important to understand, firstly, what are the perceptions? Are they fair or are they unfair? And to see what is it that people are really interested in. You build a good reputation from inside out. Do not spin your way out of it. It won't work.
People are not going to buy it.
They're not going to buy it. And Eskom is a huge organization. People know someone.
Right.
And what informs the reputation more than what the media says is if you have anything to do with the organization itself. So most comms department hear a story in the media and they think that that's what people think now. That's not the case. Not that the media conversation is not important, but you need to first be real, need to see what are people experiencing when they interact with the organization in the many ways. What does the corporate communication say? And then you should look at how does media feature in that context and how do we manage that in an honest, open, forward-thinking and strategic way.
Should you always respond, Liezl, as a company, and something's gone wrong?
Yes.
Should you always respond?
I think definitely, because you know, if you keep quiet, people think you are hiding from the issue. I have a client right now who didn't respond to a huge allegation, and there are so many assumptions with the people who are in dispute with them, which happens to be a government department, and the public, thinking they are bad and they've done wrong, and they actually haven't. And so I think you should respond as openly and honestly as you can. You don't necessarily have to come out with your whole story right at the beginning. It may strategically not be in your favor to do that, but at least to say that you are looking at the issue and you are dealing with it, and for people to know that you are a person of your word. Stick with those time commitments that you've given.
So the no comment shouldn't work.
No.
That's not the way to go. Another company that's doing very well now and changed perceptions, I think, Dominik, is SARS.
Yes.
How efficient has SARS become?
Isn't this the most amazing thing that we like the tax men?
Yes. It's bizarre.
I mean, that must be the most difficult thing to do, is to create a good reputation for the revenue service. But once again, you can see that good work has been done. This reputation doesn't come from nowhere. They have really gotten their house in order, and Pravin has done a fantastic job when he headed up that organization to really sort things out and to say, we need to get this right. And you build the reputation from inside out. It was definitely not some spin doctoring exercise. No. It was an exercise of firstly saying we need to get our house in order, and then also obviously we need to communicate that, because I think it is important when an organization does good things that people know about it, because it's fair. If I want to know, if I think about working for an organization, is that a good organization? Because it contributes to me. Right. And so for SARS, therefore, it is then easier to attract employees, and rightfully so. So this effort to make sure that people perceive you for what you actually are and where you're good is a very legitimate and actually strategically very important aspect of leading an organization.
But I also think with SARS, the proof is in the pudding. You know, they didn't just make these claims and false claims. It actually works. You go online, whatever they claimed is actually true. So there you go with your authenticity.
Yeah, I think many government departments can take a leaf from their book, because there are government departments that we work with that have excellent programs, the most amazing initiatives that really puts that industry or that sector on the map. And sometimes you find a communications department within a ministry or within a department that is not sufficiently skilled. And then the message doesn't get to the public, and people don't realize what is being done in sport. And there are incredible school rugby programs, and down to grassroots in rural areas, many different examples like that. And if it's not communicated, people assume, oh, so-and-so is useless. And it's not always true.
It's not always true. Donna, I want to talk to you about the entertainment industry, and especially in this country, with the scandals. These guys are obviously always in the public eye. So whenever something goes wrong, everybody knows about it. They make a mistake, everybody knows about it. So scandals are going to arise from time to time. Do you think, in your opinion, that with celebrities or well-known people within the country, that any situation can be remedied?
Sure. It's difficult. I mean, the one that just comes to my mind straight away is Bill Clinton. I mean, Bill Clinton does the most amazing work in the world. He does tons for charity. He does phenomenal work. But unfortunately, when you think about him, you think about Monica Lewinsky in a stained turquoise dress. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing. So yes, I do believe you can remedy it, but I do believe that if you do certain things, unfortunately, it does have a lasting effect.
It depends. It
Depends how you do it,
and how you handle it.
If you handle it quickly and efficiently, and you are decisive in how you do it, even if you've made a mistake, then today's news is tomorrow's fish and chips paper. And
so it depends on the crime, and then it depends on how you handle it. And what you're saying is deal with it immediately,
and not to cower away.
Don't be a
avoid
and deny it for a few months.
But I think most importantly, you need to look at what is the reputation that you can sustainably build. So you look at Bill Clinton and you say, what is it that the guy is actually about, and can you make sure that you have a good grasp of who the guy is, who will he be in the future, and build a reputation that is honest around it. I mean, for a rap artist, what Bill Clinton has done would be the thing to do to build your reputation. But you want a certain reputation, and it's clear that that's who you are and how you behave. Make sure that the way that you deal with the crisis is sustainable and that it's in line with the character and what the person intends to do in the future, and don't create a picture that is untruthful, because it will collapse eventually.
And then don't lie first and then come with the truth.
That will never work.
Any final thoughts?
Yes, I think companies in South Africa do not give sufficient budget to the most sustainable, most important backbone fibre of communication. They throw money at advertising, marketing and branding, and they don't put effort and money behind those things that will actually see them through the tough times.
Just a thought from me, in the age of social media, I mean, you know, your company and personal brand is out there 24/7. And
it's in the consumer's hands.
It's in the consumer's hand. They have control of it. Your ability to be proactive, to manage it, to understand what people are saying about your brand and your personal brand is incredibly important.
Final thoughts, Dominik?
Well, really, ethics and honesty needs to be the basis of this. And you can't build something that you can't sustain. And we are now seeing in the Arab countries how reputations crumble. Hosni Mubarak probably 3 months ago would have still been branded a good leader around this world. Now we see the truth come out. This was a reputation that was projected outside of Egypt. Inside of Egypt, everything was rotting, and we see what's happening.